will. First of all,
Yes,
welcome to the Sunday doHow chat, which I do every
Thanks
Sunday.
very much. Pleasure always to be with you.
Inviting one of the speakers. Before we start, I introduce a very briefly as to what this is all about, using a short presentation. First is I need to share my screen. So pardon me for that. There you go. So our basic idea is to really make sure that we try to spread the spirit of excellence in the society. So I conduct this doHow chat every Sunday at 11 o'clock, and that is the link for joining. And the recordings will be available in YouTube as well as in Spotify for those of you who don't want to watch and want to listen. So before we continue, a very quick disclaimer. Whatever we share here and whatever insights you generate from this chat definitely would be very useful, because I basically invite professionals with a rich background and also people with experience. And in case you find it interesting and want to implement, a very strong recommendation that you discuss with your trusted advisors and seek their opinion so that your implementation becomes more effective and you would not really miss the path. The topics are on various subjects related to business, continuous improvement, time management, skills, value analysis, planning, quality, performance, sales. It could be anything related to business. And today our topic would be on excellence in organizations, especially in construction, which would be spoken by Ramaswamy, who's I know him as Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy Balasubramaniam is his full name. And he's somebody who has a very, very rich experience in almost whatever you can think of in business. It could be in a place where you work. At the same time, you also have he's also had the experience in a startup, and also is a very, very humorous person I have met. So with that quick introduction, I hand over to Ramaswamy, a person with a tremendous amount of experience, to first start sharing a very quick story about your own life, and then we get into the excellence part of it. Ramaswamy, over to you.
Very interesting story about my own life. Sort of refers to what you just now said about my experience. So I used to tell people that I didn't last for more than 3 years in any company. Either they kick me out or I would leave. One of the two. And then as a personal principle, I would never join a competitor. This is a very steadfast principle of mine. So I could never rise in the domain of where I had expertise earlier. Like, for example, I was an expert land aggregator for Coca-Cola and all those people long back. So I was in feedback ventures. The moment I resigned, immediately call came from all these IPCs. 3-4 of them called me saying they wanted to come and join us as a partner. I said, I won't. They said, why? I told them, look, till yesterday, all my colleague friends, or close friends and partners, I don't want to lose their relationship. So I don't compete with my past company at all, ever. So that has kept me very close relationship with all the owners wherever I worked. That is one part. Second thing is I went across different sectors, starting from, aluminum production, extrusion, then my own factory in Ramaya Estate with the, fabrication, heavy fabrication. Then went to the opposite from there, went to make lightweight PET bottles, something saying only 20 grams, 25 grams, versus earlier it was 400, 300 kilos kind of thing. Opposite of that. And went into also setting up some steel plant, which didn't take off, but had all the experience of putting it up, sort of mini steel plant kind of thing. Then went into construction field of, also revived a sick company in Bombay, a British company, where I got a lot of experience. And a very good manufacturing man going into engineering construction. Like, for example, we keep talking construction. There are 3 different facets. I went first into engineering construction, refineries, fertilizer plants and steel plants and all. That's engineering construction. It is different from civil construction. So for them, civil construction comes down the line. There's only a basement, foundation kind of thing. Then the other thing I came into was the infrastructure, core infrastructure, roads and ports and airports, tower, that's all in core infrastructure. Then you come into the building construction, apartments and commercial complexes and malls. These are all three distinct different categories. They require different skill sets.
Correct.
So that is about the background. I went through all of them.
And also you need to speak about your services startup, apart from the product startup.
Yeah. So
Connect to projects.
Connect the projects. See, that what happened is we had a tough time actually when we were doing the projects, selecting land for Coca-Cola across the country. We did almost 26 locations in something like 1 year or 15 months kind of thing, fast track thing. And the major problem what we found was we used to actually check up through a system called VES, vertical electrical sounding, which is divining the water, whether water is there on the site, which is what these bike guys require. So we went to Patna and we went to some other places, Jaipur and all, but we could not find who's a good VES guy, vendor. So we used to take him from Jaipur or Delhi and all, fly him across, one night stay, then from there next day flight to this thing, all for something charging 50,000, we spent 1 or 2 lakhs. So then I said, this is the same problem we also found with other guys, like contour survey, quantum survey, this all this thing. We had to bring guys from whom we knew from other places. So I said, are not there people in each location doing this job? So then I realized this will be what the project managers will require, because I again found a practice among all project managers to bring people whom they know from other locations, because there is immediate reference in the where it was difficult to get. So then I started what's called connect the projects. Like when you want to start a project, whatever you require from the starting. That is, we need a accountant or CA for for making your company M&A, then company secretary, then accountant, then lawyer. M&A is there. Suppose you want venture to be having a collaboration, all those things. Plus from there on to architects, then contractors, then all kinds of consultants, HVAC consultant, electrical, mechanical, and all those vendors. The entire thing I put together. But again, there it did not take off, because despite that availability, people were still going with their own buddies who were doing the previous jobs. So we parked it after some time. Then I found in that journey, I found that the earlier problem which I faced while heading Simon Car, which is in its days largest construction company in the country. So L&T used to be a subcontractor, like Toyo Engineering, all as a subcontractor. It went down. So I was brought in for the, to take it up as a sick company to revive it. So within 1 year, I did a operational turnaround. But we were self-sufficient with our money coming and going. We managed our show there. So that gave a good bit of a hissing there. So from there, we went across to other fields there. There are a lot of anecdotes related to those things there. So their problem was, I'll tell you a small example. Hiring the crane was the most difficult job. So the crane will never come on time. It will come after 1 day, 2 days. We were doing shutdown jobs. Some of the hilarious things happened there. We used to do what is called as the load test on the cranes. Load test, what happened is the crane has to keep a designated load.
Wait,
keep it there like 1 hour, 1.5 hours. It should not come down by more than 10 mm, something like that. So we used to do the fitness test. Then this cranes, load test. And Sadar tell me, sir, sab take a leg out. So from Bombay, you should take to Ratnagiri. There the crane will fail. So product will come down. We lift more than 15 tons instead of 100 tons. So we came back and yelled at the guy. He said, sir, क्या करूँ? ये दूसरे क्रेन का हाइड्रोलिक सिलेंडर ठीक नहीं था, उसमें निकाल के इसमें फिट कर दिया. So all these issues are there. So to prevent that, what we should do is we have to mark the cylinder, check the cylinder and mark it, saying that this is the same thing.
It belongs to the same crane.
The joint, that practice, So then my friend here in Volvo, head of Volvo, he told me, Ramaswamy, the problems of hiring all this construction equipment, he said the same place where you lifted 20 years back, 15 years back. Why don't you do something about it? You know it. So we started a hiring system where we made the entire setup thing, like from the time the person requires, 2 hours before, we'll remind the guy to mark the crane and take it to the site, multiple things. And then time in there. So multiple things we did there. And then it started going on. Then we were about to get the first $1 million in terms of investment in 2018-2019 period. And at that time, the 3 unexpected things happened. One is the demonetization happened. Second thing, the RERA came in. Then the NCLT came in. 1 lakh, above 1 lakh vendor debt, he can sue you. all this hit the construction industry very badly. And about my people to whom I gave the service, they didn't pay me at all. From 2019, 56 lakhs down the drain, followed by COVID. So I parked that thing there. But then I said, might as well advise the startups and help them raise funds and grow, etc. So which I'm doing now. I take only 2 or 3 startups. So 2 of there now, one already they have gone up the ladder. So
Very good. Very good.
2
Superb.
more.
Superb. So
Very
in
interesting.
this entire experience of successes, failures, and learning more than failure, what comes to you when you think of the word excellence?
See, excellence is actually a state of mind. It's again a culmination of so many practices, which eventually, if you observe them, it results in a desired, best in class, whatever your delivery outcome, whatever it is. For example, if you talk about excellence in construction, it is again the culmination of the best practices observed in each element of construction. So, and that will give you best in class outcome, which is going to be a building or an airport or a plant, steel plant, whatever it is there. It is not just a final product. This is the thing which I want to embrace, because I went through typical ChatGPT, Google, and everything, plus other notes here and there. And I found that things were saying it's about a process, people, this, that, etc. But eventually, it is the observance of best practices in each element. For example, I'll give a very small example. You have to start observing the best practices even at the stage of product development itself. Mean before you even put a tender, before the whatever EOI kind of thing, you are developing the project. For the best example for that, I can give you the Mumbai-Pune Expressway, where the very first problem we faced while zipping down that Mumbai-Pune Expressway was cattle sitting in the middle of the road. Cattle, well, cows will be sitting there. Then you come and then you just take the thing off. Then we found that what they missed was this cattle come and sit past through that same spot and sit there. Finally, great difficulty, after some time, they made a cattle underpass. That was taken as the standard practice in future thing. So this is the best practice. Same thing, if they made some 27 flyovers in Bombay in 2000, the year 2000 or that period, Rani's time. One of the biggest problems what they did was, after the Malad flyover, it came Andheri flyover. Andheri flyover, after they get down from the flyover like that, they have to screech to a halt because people are crossing that. Because from east, Andheri east, to the railway station, which is to the other side, crossing the highway, people cross the shortest route. They'll cross. Whatever you do, they'll cross. So you won't believe, after some time, they stopped the traffic. They made one more bump. This thing was coming like this, one more bump for people to pass. So all these, suppose you have best practice in place, these things won't happen. The construction tool may have made a great bridge. It is not excellent because people are passing and the traffic jam and the accident, whatever tail ending happens over there.
So you said the application of best practices is what is excellence.
Elements. See, for example, some of these recent examples I'll tell you, that the public-private partnership project for a warehouse construction for cold storage. So we brought across usual, requirements there. So the requirements, what happened, the client was wanting to favor one particular person who was coming in there. Low cost kind of thing. So we told him this won't work, because you're talking about a 30-year construction. The guy going to make his own cold storage thing and coming and welding and fabricating there, he's not from the industry. He's just going to buy a compressor and put something and do that. It won't work for long, and then we can't guarantee all this thing. So they were sort of giving up the sacrificing the best practice for getting a very low cost guy who knows them. That's it. So it will result in a disaster. It won't be an excellent whatever that cold storage afterwards. So each element, suppose you take the estimation kind of thing. So mainly the very biggest problem in India is that we do not estimate properly. Whatever the construction cost, there is no estimation done properly. It's all ballpark figure. For example, in the earlier days, it used to be 4 crore per megawatt of electric power. That is the thumb rule. They blindly apply thumb rule. So like that, many aspects are there where the people do not actually take the trouble of estimating. This is a difference where I was in Simon Cow. There is a gentleman called Bhattacharya. He came from Calcutta to Bombay office to set up this. You won't believe, every day, diligently, old guy, he will sit and collect all the quotations from everybody. When he changes, know something has happened, motor change, price change, this change, steel price change, he will ask for the quotation. And the estimation for any of the contracts, whatever you have to quote, it will be based on compilation done by Bhattacharya. Even the director will not overrule him because he will have a problem because this guy has got the entire quotation from each party in his hand based on which he is given a quote. So here what happened is we go with some big budget. This is the budget, you within that you do it kind of. And many of the things what happens even on the other side, if you take something like a survey, contour survey or even the VS survey, the cost of it is determined by the grid you take. Suppose you take a 3 meter by 3 meter grid, the number of times we have to check will be say X. Same thing, we may make a 10 meter by 10 meter grid, it will be hardly 1/5 or 1/4 of that. Cost will be lower. They sacrifice there. They won't listen to the consultant. And second problem is selection of consultant. Right at the beginning, the consultant who designs and gives that TOR itself, you get somebody who is not well experienced and who's quite low cost kind of guy. So there is sacrifice. Once he prepares that RFQ, it will be very deficient, which will result eventually in extra scope work, which will cause delays. Why? Because you wanted to save the 3 lakhs extra to pay to a good consultant. So that again is the best practice, which is not being followed there. How do you select the consultant?
So I think, what you said makes a lot of sense. Best practices. One, second is you're talking about somebody, first of all, applying the best practices in a right, thorough way. Then to make sure that excellence is also about disciplined, focused, meticulous work with attention to detail. The example of Bhattacharya, which you mentioned. Now, these are all things which possibly is quite obvious. What do you think needs to be done so that we can inculcate such a culture, such a behavior in everyone in the organization? What needs to be done?
See, very important thing. You asked a very good question there. The problem is attitude. We let a lower quality thing pass. Like this has happened to us in the manufacturing unit there, because the workers, they want a productivity index. So we used to do all kinds of things to push enough things into their thing to get the productivity index going, and we let some of the not so good stuff pass. Similarly, construction also, very same thing happens. That small example I'll give you. I'm living in one of the, I don't want to name the developer. Don't. So the carpenter made the thing. I told him, ये सब क्यों टेढ़ा टेढ़ा बनाया? वो बोला साहब मेरा नहीं टेढ़ा सर, आप देखिए ट्राई स्क्वायर लिखे 90 degrees. Your wall is टेढ़ा. I was shocked. Then I found the wall is टेढ़ा. So then again I talked to another tier 1 friend of mine, director there, there. I asked him, why is your thing? I lived in your apartment. There the right angle is right angle, vertical is vertical. Where I bought now, it is not there. What is the difference? You are using the same cement and you are using the same steel. That of I checked up. But he is saying, Ramaswamy, I spent 200 rupees per square foot extra on only supervision. And I charge them 500 rupees for that. Whereas I remember in the apartment where I'm occupying now, where I'm sitting, after the structural work was done, there is no project manager, no supervisor, only workers are coming and doing the work. So what happened? They lose because of that. The vendor loses because of that. I'll tell you a small example there. We get a 10-year guarantee for the terrace leakage, waterproofing, correct? And we get a 3-year warranty for the tiles inside the bedrooms and houses, entire house. 3 years. Now my house already 2nd year the tile went bust. Why? Because that guy who was doing that work was not observing the process. Flat surface, then all the markers and all things, you're not observing. You simply, you just put it in and it went off. Nobody to supervise. Initially, we don't even know whether it's properly affixed or not. So what happened? The non-observance of the process there. Then what happens? Once you occupy the place, you come and remove the tile as per guarantee. What happened to my wardrobes? All the cement is splashed on the wall. I will avoid it as much. Right now, it is the one thing I'm not doing it. Similarly, also the leakage. It's a 10-year guarantee. But the water starts seeping from the terrace. It comes into a wardrobe down the floor. How can that damage be repaired? Can never be. You will get termites and everything there. So what happens is the excellence is actually a commitment in the attitude. You want each and everything you do to be the best in class.
Mm.
It is not customers getting certificates. You yourself should be satisfied.
Mm.
This is the best I could have done it. And then you
Mhm.
are urged to find, is there anything better than this I can do?
Mhm.
Everything is changing. Today, if you take construction, AR, VR has come, drones have come.
Mhm.
So many these things have come, new, implements to do. But then with all that, you think everybody is going to do a great job they want.
Mhm.
Because internally, the innate thing that I should be excellent. It's a pride, matter of pride.
Mhm.
Is actually, there was a small example when in college I asked Professor Shukla
Mhm.
a question saying that in India,
Mhm.
if I reject more than what is permitted in the workshop, the
Mhm.
worker will meet me up in the station outside just to
Mhm.
catch the train.
Mhm.
In Japan, the same thing. If you tell the worker your number of rejections is more than permitted, he will commit suicide. Harakiri. Why is there such a vast difference? One side that guy bashes up the supervisor, other guy that worker commits suicide.
Mhm.
We said, look, we have asked a good question, but give me 1 week's time. The next class I'll tell you. He came back.
Mhm.
I thought a lot and spoke to a lot of people. I spoke to Japanese also. I
Mhm.
think I got an answer for you.
Mhm.
He said in India,
Mhm.
the worker looks only at his take home money. He doesn't care what output he gives. He said, I want my monthly money.
Mhm.
So come what may. In Japan, the moment you say the worker, your quality is bad, it's a personal hurt because his sense
Yes,
of
he gets hurt.
self-respect is very high. Sense of dignity and self-respect is very high. And the personal honor is very high. Sense of personal honor. He can't tolerate that my quality, my work has been rejected. So
Mhm.
when he goes back to society, they will ridicule him, saying that this guy thing is there, is this month he got less, so he'll commit suicide.
Mhm.
So there is no feeling of personal honor and pride in the work you do.
Mhm.
That is the fundamental thing. I think that also goes to excellence. You know, all the guys who, even the players and all who play tennis or any other game, they all work at their excellence repeatedly.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
is better than this? Each day they try to improve it. So that results in the excellence. Each time you have to deliver the same excellence.
Mhm.
So it's a continuous process. It's not a one time.
Yeah. I think 2, 3 things which you spoke makes a lot of sense, and also is a kind of a contradicting situation to the practice in any industry, whether it is construction or in manufacturing, both of which you have seen. See, you said supervisor is the key. No? The supervisor is the one who's supposed to be continuously supervising
Yeah.
the work in terms of quality of work, and
Yeah.
he is kind of a linchpin for excellence,
Yeah.
so that he can constantly mentor them to evolve an excellence
Yeah.
attitude. Right? That's what you said. Now,
So
on
I'll
the
give you
other
a good
side,
example then. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. But on the other side, if you see, the supervisors are considered as indirect headcount, and therefore, whenever there is a reduction of fixed cost to be done, then they are given more and more roles. Like, for example, a supervisor may be spending a lot of time in creating reports, entering data, participating in
Yeah.
and so how do you see this kind of a contradiction? On one side, his role is extremely important, all of us agree, but on the other side, the organizations tend to use his time for doing things which are not his primary role at all.
See, that's exactly the problem. What happened is you're tending to be more reporting oriented. What happened? Everything is subcontracted. So earlier, what happened? There is something called as there's a word for that. Doing the in-house departmentally. This is called departmentally.
Mhm.
So in Simon Cast, when I was heading 1990, 1980s, they had a very good team, and before they became sick, there is a clear ratio.
Mhm.
6 charge men, 1 foreman, 6
Mhm.
foremen, 1 supervisor, 6 supervisors, 1 whatever next level there.
Mhm.
So very tight supervision, all departmental work. So
Mhm.
zero rejection, and they are the best plants.
Mhm.
Later we relaxed it.
Mhm.
10 charge men, 1
Mhm.
supervisor,
Mhm.
1 foreman. For the
Mhm.
supervisor level, you start giving the reports.
Mhm.
Moment the report writing came into the nuisance.
Mhm.
Because that guy either area, and most of them probably they lacked the language, communication is poor.
Mhm.
And then those days sending it across was difficult, mail it and this thing. So these are all occupational hazards. Then later on, actually, the very first day a fresher is sent to the site, civil engineer sent to the site, they start asking the report without training. So to overcome, we even started some kind of a training course. Now somebody is doing it here. Mr. Ashok is doing it here, getting them to be ready for the site work there.
Mhm.
So this is something which you have to face. At the same time, what happens is the uh, process to be used for the construction that has to be laid down by the supervisor each day.
Mhm.
Suppose a painting is done somewhere, you have to tell. I mean, I used a very good method earlier for seeing that the delivery is on time. So each time morning, I used to go to the site at 9 o'clock, tell him chai ka time 11 baje fir se aunga. 11 o'clock from here to here, you should do like this. And I ensured that the supervisor told him how he should do. He should scrape it and do this and putty and all. He'll explain in front of me. 11 o'clock when I come, he's got physical idea of this much I should finish. What they do is whole morning will relax. Till 3 o'clock tea time and wake up. Then they'll wrap it up in 3 hours or before 6 o'clock in a hurry. That's the quality goes. So we also have a responsibility. Just go on supervising that. And the guy knows he's coming, so I have to do this, but I have to do it properly also. So that pressure has to be there continuously. So there is a responsibility also on us.
More than just the supervision, it is cascaded supervision.
Yeah.
From the top management, right? That is what cascaded supervision. So now, yeah, please.
There are many aspects to it. For example, there is something called conditions precedent.
Yeah.
All the things that we need to do in preparation of starting the construction. We never do that. All the time we compromise. Something is not ready, still you start the work. So again, either it's hurried up, that part is hurried up. Then the milestone management, again, the starting and ending is all not given enough time. Like for example, a minister will come here and say, I'm going to open Shankarante, I'm going to open this segment of the metro. It will never happen because it takes 8 months or 6 months for vibration testing. RD is supposed to come and do it. First you have to test, then you have to put something. They don't think about it. They simply come and make some promise and pressurize the guys. So once you put undue pressure and unjustified pressure on the site staff supervising the work, they will err somewhere. It's a question of nokari for them. They'll lose the job in case they don't do the stacking kind of thing. The attitude is very, very poor there. So actually, this is a process which is start to end. It is not at one point. What I'm saying, right from your RFP, then project development itself from there, RFP, then some of the conditions in your concession agreement, then actual conditions precedent that you have to clear this, then some of the road go through the porous areas, what you should do, preparatory work, then later the ending, the signages will not be there. By the time you close the project, people are gone, signages won't be there. All these things, they are all a totality of the entire thing. It is not just one element.
So I think, I think if you look at the cause and effect, what you said makes a interesting resonance to what I can think of. One is you are speaking about the basic dignity and honor and pride of work.
Yes.
Is something which is missing in the Indian context. Now, therefore, you need more supervision. But our general business models or the management models are coming from the West or from Japanese culture, where the country per se has, or the population per se have a higher sense of pride and honor in what they do. So is it right to assume that till we evolve a situation where the entire country has a better sense of pride and honor in what I do, we need to be looking at a different kind of a model where you have maybe a set of a small entity where you have a supervisor whose job is only to ensure that the work is done correctly. Then along with him, maybe have one more person who does the reporting, attends the meetings, etc. He's a kind of a partner to the supervisor. Do you think something like that?
No, I solved that in one way long back.
Yeah.
What happened to the two most difficult things for the site guys, one is writing the report, second is submitting accounts. These two are the biggest problem, but they are not into it. Money comes, they spend, and then they have to look for everything there. So I gave them one this thing. Every evening, whatever, 6:30 in ready, my EA will be there on the phone. So they will tell on the phone, "Aaj kya kaam kiya maine? Ye kiya, wo kiya." Then my supervisor used to keep the whatever the per chart or something, in today's activities thing. He will ask me, "Make it now." He'll make the report. The site guy's job is done in 20 minutes on the phone. Second thing is, I brought a new system there saying that I don't wait for your accounts to send the next amount of money because they'll spend from pocket. When they spend from pocket, they'll claim more.
Correct.
Okay, so what I did was about 75-80% of the monthly requirement is a project, and that money will go, 80% will go to him on day one. 30th evening, 31st evening, the money will be in his hands. And within next 7 days, the balance, the entire account should be given. That also worked, so two of their headache went off. And there also one of the account fellows, they will tell on the receipt, everything is taken, then they bundle and send it across. So two of the headaches are removed, so they were able to focus more on the testing.
That means you are talking about somebody central who is collecting information to make a report
Yes,
just by
so many of the
calling
things
or
are very
talking.
easy now. See, many of the things have become much easier now because you got all dictation software and this, that, everything is there. So you can even dictate to the computer directly, it can be drawn from there. So
No, but still,
things have come.
as a boss, it is quite common for people to expect the supervisor who is their subordinate to write a WhatsApp message or make a phone call or make a report.
But they are doing now. They are doing it now.
They're doing that, but then that's a diversion for them, right? Imagine a situation if that additional work was not there and they could just talk to somebody and tell them how the day went on, and their focus will be only in ensuring quality output of whatever their team is supposed to do.
What they are doing, I experienced something recently there. They are taking a voice clip. It's very easy. So on the spot, they just give a voice clip and send it across. It's all working.
Clip. Okay.
A lot of improvement is taking place. And also, it's in a good manner. Many of these things, what I'm talking, is already happening. People are taking pride in their work because what's happening everywhere, the international channel has come. Also, now you are also having expats working here. The bosses are expats. People know that expectations are high and their temper is very nasty. In case something is not good, they say sack the guys, so they are aware of it. You can't influence them. So that slowly the situation is changing and people are understanding the good qualities there, and then subcontractors, they have to be qualified well properly, and good top class contractors have very good subcontractors, so that the subcontractors also back to back. Anything goes wrong, he's also responsible. So that is being taken now, but we don't have enough of them. This was a big problem even in the construction, our infrastructure construction side, where all the best top contracts are going to all the top contractors. Suddenly they found there are not enough contractors, and those contractors didn't have enough capacity. For them to build capacity will take time. So that they relax by allowing the next level contractors, tier 2 contractors, to go for JV with foreign firms. There are some bad things happen. So our guys, you tell them, okay, you just lend me your name, I'll qualify, I'll take the job, I'll give 5% of the turnover. For doing nothing, give me a lead. So that failed. So again, because this guys came and qualified, when they took the job, they didn't even know how to start. So this whole huge process is that to start a very huge project. The entire condition precedent and preparatory work for starting the work, mobilization of the staff, the mobilization of machines, the contract qualification, it's all big work. So the regular contractors do it on the run. They will know it by the road. This is required. Whereas the new guys will not know. They will need somebody else. So then they went into the local JV. So all these things happened, but slowly that improvement is taking place.
In your opinion, let us say we talk about the supervisor in the site. How much percentage time do you think he could or should spend on topics other than supervision and mentoring?
See, actually, these people need a continuous training.
So
regularly, annual one training they need for upgradation.
Now, apart from that, every day, how much time do you think he can maximum spend? Is it 10% of 8? Let us say 8 hours shift. Maximum 1 hour can he spend, or even half an hour only?
1 hour is very difficult.
Half an hour?
Yeah, half an hour to 45 minutes, definitely.
Half an hour is maximum he can spend, other than supervision and mentoring.
He can do 1 hour, but 1 hour is a bit tough.
1 hour is already on the higher side, right? It will not be
higher side, but because you have got meetings also, you have to write
5% is what we can say maximum.
Read things, he has to go through other people details, reports only has to go through.
That means if we say that if for his work the maximum allowed is 5%, for example, of the day, and as you go higher up, that percentage can increase, because there you are only talking about guiding, mentoring, and meeting and all that as you go higher up. But at the first frontline leader, maximum 5%.
Yeah, 5 to 10% max.
5 to 10%.
You can make it up to 10%.
5 to 10%. Okay. Yeah. Now, moving in the same direction, Ramaswamy, one question, because this is something which is a topic which is more national topic, and also very interesting because you raised this for the first time in my chat. Now, this sense of honor and pride, why do you think is missing in the Indian context in comparison to Germany or Japan? I've been in Germany for a long time. There, even the cobbler would not feel happy if he has done a job which is bad. The sweeper would not find. Everybody wants to do their work to perfection. Same in Japan also. Why is it that that kind of a pride is missing in
See,
India?
one thing is, historically, we have been deriding and demeaning the lower end of the work. Like, sweeper, we treat them very badly, bungi and all that kind of thing. Very bad kind of way.
Okay.
Similarly, cobbler also, chamar and all that kind of thing. Just having a very bad kind of treatment to them, and we hardly pay them anything proper. So they just eke out a living. So from where they will get the honor? Because they come in tattered clothes and they are always subservient, not educated. Whereas the same thing is not so. Like, for example, in Wahe or somewhere, me and my wife went in. One of the billionaires owning a aircraft, she came walking, talking along with a lady who was the housekeeping staff. So wife was shocked. She said, "Look, this guy is getting into his own jet aircraft, and he's chatting with her like, oh, okay, see you next time," that kind of thing. This lady is talking to him. What are this? Here, this is USA. Here, there's the honor for labor. They honor the labor. They don't treat them like muck or something. And she will have having her own car. Maybe small car, but she will have her own transport. So that way, because they were the lower end of the spectrum there, it's changing now. For example, the guard in our building is $22,000 because we insist that they pay them everything, whatever is due, we pay to them. So they are slightly more honorable. So slowly that system is changing, but substantial thing is yet to happen in some other places. The large firms and all, they are doing well. Very small firms, it still continues. Very treatment of them, with a lot of kind of derision and all that has to go. That's from us. If we treat them well, suppose my building guard, I give him respect, he develops an sense of honor. Like somebody, he picked up a bag, he didn't seal it, something was lying there, he kept it and then asked everybody, "Is this yours?" Earlier, quietly they were taken it away, because they are poorly paid. Now they are well paid, they are respected also. It doesn't happen. Slowly the change is happening. We have to give them respect. If you don't demand respect, respect has to be commanded. So for them to command respect, we have to show, and then we make the work more honorable, and we have to respect them more.
And this is something which you feel is because of the our whole way the society was built up for so many ages, or is it because of colonialism? Where do you think is the problem?
It's all mixed up there. Like, for example, the Britishers, they used to have that, the guys used to sort of put their this thing and they used to climb on their back and climb to their vehicle. Have you seen that? They should Doraika gave my back. They could he'll become like a step. The guy will go on his knees, and the white guy will put his foot on his foot and get into that horse cart. Have you seen that? Horse. So that derision has taken place. They have built in that inferiority complex. So that has to go. It takes time. Treatment of people, that they have divided everything and then treated them class-wise. So that mentality has to go. Right now, if you see, yesterday I would have seen some paper, one guy's, parents are shedding tears because they struggled so much for the son to become a great batsman or something, and somebody's guy get into IIT, that somebody gets into, USA. Even people like Ramcharan, they are from humble background. They're number one concern in the world. They come from humble background. So then they broke the barrier. A lot of breaking the barrier is taking place. That has to be encouraged through education and then means. Like in our this thing, I am from IIT Madras. So alumni, we are trying to put in money because one guy, I believe, he couldn't find some $3,000 in the last minute to pay fees, so the IIT refused to admit him. All of the guys fought and the government came into the picture. We put that up. Now we got a small system, like 19,000 rupees is the cost of mess food for 1 year. So immediately Dean has told us, all of us are putting 19,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever. So the guys were not able to afford that mess fees. Somebody will take care of it. So the person is taken care. So automatically there is no sense of shame or anything,
Correct.
It's easily providing that.
Correct.
Right now, the built-in slowly over a period of time.
Correct. Now you said frontline, the supervisors are important, and we said 90 to 95% of the time, because they definitely will play a role in bringing this kind of a sense of pride to the individual contributor also. The individual contributor could be either an engineer or a worker, or even could be a helper. So that sense of pride, it is given by the supervisor. So his interaction is extremely important on a daily basis. Now,
one thing is happening. Sorry for interrupting that. See, what is happening is here the advent of the automatic machines are coming. So the worker's education has to go up. The person who's operator is all BSc.
Yeah.
Then he is given the responsibility for both the first level quality check he himself is doing.
No, but even with BSc, the sense of pride will always be a problem, Ramaswamy, isn't it? That sense of pride and honor is something which somebody has to, what do you call it, as encourage? Because over the entire education system, our education system primarily kind of, what is the word for? There are friends who are continuously teasing, or somebody is continuously being ridiculed, and at home, normally we say that you don't do so many things, right? The encouragement to do something is not very common in our society. So basically, we are kind of scared to upset the apple cart.
I'll give you a very beautiful example there. If you permit me. You remember Manohar Mulgaonkar, Tata Sons, Telco chief.
Yeah.
So one of this is again values of the company. I to bring that values of the company. So one of the major values of Tata Group, Telco especially, was respect for others.
Okay.
All the executives are told that you can never berate your subordinate in front of others.
Yeah. Okay.
You can never berate your subordinate in front of others. You can call him and fire him in his room, in your room,
okay.
not in front of others.
Okay.
One day, what happened? One of these vice presidents, he went to the shop floor and yelled at the supervisor in front of everybody. Because of you, this thing went on. That's an idiot, whatever nonsense. They got humiliated in the morning. So somebody called Mulgaonkar, he was staying in Nepean Road that time, where I was staying nearby. He took his car and set forth. He drove to Pune. Meantime, the accountant came. He called the vice president to his room, told him termination letter. Because this value you cannot, compromise.
Not be compromised. Correct.
So he sacked him.
Correct.
So immediately the impact was there on the supervisor, the shop floor supervisor, saying that okay.
He gets the confidence. He gets moral courage.
He gets the confidence, saying that look, my humiliation has been corrected. This guy should have called me to the room and instead of talking in front of all the workers. So that value upholding has to come from top management.
Correct.
Others for the value. So the value system of the firm is what instills those things.
Correct. Now let us imagine that if you have to find a solution, if you have to enable the frontline leaders to spend at least 90 to 95% of their time for daily work management, supervision, mentoring, etc., we can use technology, isn't it? Well, like you said, it could be recording, it could be photographing or something like that, where it is quick and easy. And combine that with the regular training of the skills needed for.
The third part is there, training, skill upgradation, plus training, etc. Third part is reward recognition. You recognize them in front of his people, his peers, that gives a great motivation. Suppose somebody does an excellent work.
Okay.
And you can always call him to the room and pat him on the back and give him a thing. But in front of his peers, his whole gang, you give him an award and praise him,
That means you are talking about, is it general reward and recognition, or is it a reward and recognition for the supervision itself, so that you are emphasizing that?
Suppose he has achieved something good.
Okay.
So good citation in front of his family and in front of his peers. This gives him a lot of pride. Once the sense of pride comes, that results in working towards excellence. He'll want to repeat it.
Proper rewards and recognition also, right? It is to give for the right thing.
Yes, correct.
Otherwise, it will be an issue. Now, we went on talking about excellence and how do you create such an excellence in organizations. Now, if you look at the organization, we spoke about that. But when it comes to startup, it's a different world altogether. And there again, if you see best practices like product market fit, best practices like the real addressable market, best practices like POC itself, there are a lot of things available in the open space, and I'm sure people are knowledgeable. But why do you think almost every startup has a problem in going through this rigor? Where is the problem? Is it because of some kind of a impatience that I need to succeed quickly, or where does the problem come from? And how do we address this? What's your opinion on that?
Problem comes because I am very much into thick of this, what you're asking just now. Two of these startups. One startup has been there. I'm there with him for about 13 years now, or 12 years. Fundamentally, what happened? The clarity on the offering. What am I offering? I said, can you tell me in one line what are you giving to the market? They won't be able to give. Most of them won't be able to give. Number one. And the other part is that whatever, there are so many elements over there. And
Mhm.
people do not go to the customer and ask. This is what I keep telling people. I myself didn't do it. Because when I went to the listing, first two guys to survey, they were not really, able to give the proper reply. So I did not go through with it. Like, will you hire a app for doing this service, etc.
Mhm.
So then what happened is the problem is you don't know what a customer requires. You assume something, build something, and you convince some investor or something, then they get stuck while going to the market.
So
When we
that
go to the
means,
market,
see, if you look at excellence is all about consistently delighting all the stakeholders involved, right? So here in this case, startup, the main stakeholder is customer. So unless your understanding is expectation, there is no possibility of doing
what
excellence at all.
happens?
But if you are
So
doing
you
excellence,
bring,
yeah. So it's a very
so for
interesting
example,
anecdote.
I
Yeah,
asked one of my, yesterday only,
yeah,
asked one of my startups, healthcare startup, been there for some time.
yeah,
And I asked him, he's doing diagnostics. He brought a
yeah,
beautiful kit, fantastic stuff.
yeah.
And he's also doing diagnostic service, also can be done. Immediate instant, you will get the report immediately within 5-10 minutes.
Uh,
Good one.
yeah.
So the problem is that I said, have you gone and asked somebody whether you want a report in 10 minutes?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Do you want a report in 10 minutes?
Uh-huh.
What's the difference between getting it now and in the evening? Does it make a difference to me?
Uh-huh.
And in case how much I'm paying, suppose it's lower pay, it's okay. But next part is, I gave the example saying that my last year I took Tata 1 mg. Till
Mhm.
now, again, I've not gone because the first day they gave one report came in the evening. They
Mhm.
said doctor consultation, no doctor consultation. Next day, two lines came from a doctor, take B12,
Mhm.
neurobian. That's all.
Mhm. Mhm.
Forgotten. That's it.
Mhm.
So I said, this is what you tackle. Suppose you give a report then and there, and then is there a doctor there
Mhm.
who will read this report and tell him 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mhm.
And then the record is maintained because it's an app based. So next year, when you
Mhm.
again 6 months or 12 months back, this is reference taken back, and then you give a what has gone worse.
Mhm.
Have you asked him? He's not asked even one guy in the last 5-6 years. Not
Mhm.
met one single patient, one single doctor, etc. What
Mhm.
do you want? Is this
Mhm.
okay with you? So what do you want from this?
Mhm.
Why would you change?
Mhm.
So that exercise doesn't take place. You don't ask the customer, money or the guys there.
Mhm.
Apart from IT guys know what they require because they come from IT background. They know what the customer requires. That different story. There again, they don't do well because they think the market is huge. Market is huge for good products. And wrong estimation of market and multiple guys attacking the same market, multiple things are there.
Mhm.
What happens is they take a huge money,
Mhm.
and you have to remember that that money either has to multiply, that guy exits, or it's
Mhm.
a debt means you have to repay it.
Mhm.
So most of them do not know the financial of the things like EBITDA, like how much I should I earn
Mhm.
to repay 100 crore in 3 years,
Mhm.
18% interest. They never work it out. That much cash
Yeah.
flow doesn't happen. So they
Yeah.
get stuck in the first year, they close it.
You see, it is quite interesting what you said. I met one of the guys. He wanted to call me for mentoring him. He said that he wants some funding to be done for him to grow. Then after that, I went and met him. It's a very take a minute to explain the story and ask your opinion as to how do you avoid such a thing. So this guy, he makes a particular molecule, and this molecule calls it as a probe. These molecules, it's a something like a pharma molecule. It's basically made out of some organic. Uh, they've done organic chemistry research and evolved this molecule. This molecule, these molecules are probes, what they call it as, are used for creating fluorescence in blood or in any biological
Am I aware of this?
testing when a particular foreign particle is there. For example, you could have a fluorescence probe for some particular specific bacteria. You could
Mhm.
have fluorescence particle for let us say hemoglobin being very high. So depending on what you
Correct.
want, they match the foreign particle or match the anomaly to the fluorescence and deliver these probes. Now, I believe there are only 3 companies in the world who make this, 2 European and 1 American company. And in India, all the diagnostic labs have to import these probes from them. Now, he was telling me that the imported probes, if they have to use 100 grams or let us say 1 gram, 100 grams of the imported probe, his probe is, I believe the key is to make sure that they're extremely clean. That means the density of the required probe is very, very high in that package they deliver. So he was telling me in the probe that he delivers, they are able to use only the customer needs only 1/40th the amount used by the foreign probe. That means if the foreign probe he wants to he needs 100 grams, his probe he only needs 2.5 grams.
Okay.
1/40th of the imported value, and so 2.5 grams. Now he's been desperate to create a market, and he told me that they have to always give a discount because they say we can't buy it without a discount. Now if you give 100 means you give further discount, then that customer is really taking you for a ride. You understood the calculation? That means the customer's requirement comes down 40 times when he buys it from him. Whereas from the imported guy, he's buying more. He's buying more, paying more. Here he's buying less and also buying less frequently. So the customer is getting a huge benefit. This fellow cannot make money. So he's still looking at funding. I said, why do you want funding? You should be looking at totally reframing your sales strategy and going in for a situation where you're talking about 500 or 600% profit. So your funding should be generated by your orders only. Why should you sell it at a lower cost? If the American guy is selling at 100, theoretically, like-to-like comparison, you would be able to sell it at 4,000. So instead of 4,000 a gram, you sell it at 3,500 a gram, 3,000 a gram. So this kind of a understanding of the market, positioning, etc. Why do you think the startups have? Is it because of the eagerness to prove a point, eagerness to really get into the market, eagerness to launch the product? What are the drivers for such a situation?
Mainly, I think there's a fear of failure. Suppose I give the price at 3,900, 3,500. The guy say, okay, I'll buy that only because I'm very sure about it. So little fear. Then other thing is to say, I'll give it very cheap because my costs are very low. They won't confess their cost. Instead of saying, okay, see what happens, similar cases where I have advised, I told them, please do not drop the price. So MRP should be same. If 4,000, you also make 3,950 or 3,900 MRP and build 5 or 6 cases for giving discounts. You will give 10% discount if you're placing the order right here and now. Second thing is, in case you're giving me advance on the 10%. Third thing is, suppose your quantity is more, this is the third thing there. Fourth is, you give me further payment against invoice, 40% discount. Another this thing is 50% discount if you're giving me order for the whole year. So that you build a discount structure, cascading thing, and if you have that as a chart, so negotiation, you tell me this is what it is. I cannot negotiate beyond this. So that guy will fall in place. So the guys very scared. They just want to get the order somehow at low price, get going and not almost eking out a living. So that mindset of that has to be changed. The confidence is lacking there.
Confidence is the problem.
The market, the pricing confidence. To command the price, you need a lot of confidence. Like I saw this very funny thing long back. One friend of mine, sometime in the 70s. So I went to his shop. He was staying in a neighbor there. He said, Gujarati, you just watch how you do business. He told me, stand here. I was a student then. I was standing next to him. One customer came, shooting piece. So he showed one shooting, told him, this is the thing, this is that, this is that, this is Raymond's, and this is this. This price is some, 120 rupees per meter. He said, he wants शादी के लिए ना थोड़ा सुपीरियर क्वालिटी चाहिए देता हूँ बट थोड़ा 170 पे लगेगा ये 125 170 बट आपका फील आपको लगेगा शादी के लिए वन मोर थिंग्स दैट गाय सेड ओके 170 पे शादी के लिए दे दो ही वेंट देन आई वाचिंग बोला समझ गया तुम ऐसे नहीं समझा बोला बोथ आर सेम this business you have to sell the perception of the customer this is better and I can pay more is what you have to get.
Correct. So for that kind of a right strategy is required, isn't it? What has been your experience in that, in trying to tell the startups about such how do they go about
actually you have to command the price. See, this is a price discovery. What happens is you should not be very subservient. Most of the people they discover they just want to get the first sale somehow. Tell them don't be in a hurry and you stand your ground. And the customer will come around saying that these are the benefits and this is the thing I can give you. This is the price. So if you are confirming that, I'm just giving the example of 4,000, 3,000, you can give 3,000 also. You're making money there. Telling them I'm already giving you 25% lower advantage. Otherwise, why will it change? And in that, this is my structure. Stick to it because if you go with a clear-cut company policy kind of thing with a printed structure, there you tell him there is no scope for negotiation. If you're following this is what I can give. Beyond this, it's not possible. So this has been structured, and this is how we work. Because the other clients who are placing a bigger order, giving me advance, I cannot give you the same discount. Or you follow suit. So they need the confidence to sell there. That has to be instilled in them, saying that the first guy may say no, second guy, the moment the second guy buys, the first guy will come back to you.
Because I think the buyer department is always interested in reducing the cost, while the operations may be interested in using that because it's more effective. But the buyer is only looking at pitching a customer. Like you said, you cannot look at
foreign fellow 3,000 euros. So 25% I'm already giving you. So we give too much, no, the second time you cannot reduce, further reduction.
You can't reduce.
So don't give too much, give some 15%, 10%, then you slightly let him fight for the next 10%.
Yeah. And for this, one is confidence. Second is also, I think the sufficient funding should be there for you to withhold in not having a required order, right? That is also equally important.
Yeah, you have to have the capacity to see,
appetite should be there. That appetite to stay without an order is equally important.
The staying power is required. But the problem is you cannot stock too much, and then not sell.
Correct. That's also true.
The other part, I'll tell you, one of the major problems why now only 2% succeed, 98% fail, startups. The reason is they also get funded, but then they are not able to muster up enough sales. And that is because they think once they make a projection, it will happen. It doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen.
People, there is a method of doing it. First, you get 10 or 12 customers who go on repeatedly buying from you. Slowly increase to 100, and then they should. So only when the repeated buying comes, it becomes a brand. There is no repeated buying. There is no brand.
Correct.
Each time you get a new buyer and go on, there's no brand.
Each
time you have to go and sell the entire thing to somebody. So branding is not taking place. So first, they should get a set of good customers, 100 or 10 or 1,000, whatever it is, and they service them well. Brand is big. Then you scale up. So they make some very false commitments to VCs and do some DCF, valuation, which is wrong because there is no turnover at all initially. So the DCF doesn't work. You have to have value created. Valuation is come from the value created by you. For some value, beyond that, you do the business. So the business is there to make money. So unless you show repeated increase in sales, there is no business. That's why they ask for the month-on-month, growth kind of thing. It is a must, actually, it's a requirement. So when they see that, they say the business. The investors see that the business, if there's a growth month-on-month, till some steady state, then you pivot and do something else and grow further. That concept is not there. People are rushing and everybody thinks I'm a unicorn kind of thing. The unicorn concept is very bad. You don't have to be unicorn. Even 50, 60 crores with good profit is more than enough for a great life.
Okay, super. Okay. Thank you so much, Ramaswamy. So what I have done is, as we have spoken, I have made a noting down of the various topics that you explained. So I just want to now share the screen and then see if you have got any question and then any change to be done. And after that, there's only one participant. The others had come and left. Somebody came, somebody left. So we got one participant. We'll ask him if he has got any questions to ask. So this is the list which I made. First is the excellence is all about thorough application of best practices. You can read this, right?
Difficult. Yeah, I'm just trying to read. I'm saying a culmination of best practices observed in each element of construction that leads to the best-in-class outcome in whatever is done, constructed or whatever. So it's a culmination of best practices in each element, not a single thing. It's every entire chain of activities which goes into that outcome.
Yeah. No, I will leave construction aside because the same thing is applicable for any industry.
Everything. Yeah.
Then the next one was excellence is all about discipline, focus, meticulous work with attention to detail. Then cascaded top-down supervision of quality of work through the hierarchy by all leaders is a linchpin of excellence. Linchpin of excellence by constant mentoring to evolve an excellence attitude. Then excellence comes from within through personal dignity and honor. And the key is inculcating this mindset in everyone. The frontline leaders ideally should spend maximum 5 to 10% of their activities other than daily work management, supervision, and mentoring. I totally prescribe to this. Then enabling the frontline leaders to spend 90 to 95% of the time for daily management, supervision, and mentoring. Using technology combined with regular retraining of skills needed for leading individual contributors can leapfrog excellence in India. This, I think, is the core, which we possibly are not very strong in doing it in this country, right? Then people, proper rewards and recognition further catalyzes excellence in organizations. Attempting product and service excellence based on assumptions of stakeholder needs and expectations is a recipe for disaster. The key is to speak and ask the stakeholders, especially potential customers. Then startup excellence is all about catering, creating and offering value-added products and service at least or more than the prevailing market price, while creating significant value on the total cost of ownership. The key is to work on branding and positioning from the initial stage, while ensuring survival till the sale with the right price is possible. This is more or less a summary of what we discussed. So if you are happy with that, we can I can unshare the screen. This anyway will be part of the presentation, so people can see.
Share then one very interesting. If you unshare, I will tell you one final closing thing.
Yeah.
So I was working in Gurgaon in a leading project management consultancy firm, not top in the country, and one guy reporting to me was one of the IIMs and one of the IITs guy, and they were there for 2-3 years. Nice, quiet guy and this thing. And one day I called him. We are supposed to go to one MNC for some work, so I asked him, Anand, what are you doing? So he said, "Sir, I'm doing my work." So I told him, do you think I will ask you this question to get this answer, this reply? He was completely boxed. He said, again, I'm asking you, what are you doing? Think about it and come back tomorrow morning. Next day he came, completely not slept. Said, sir, I'm not doing anything. So I said, do you know why I asked you this question? I said, I interviewed you for a job 3 years back. When I do that, what happened is, today, suppose April, you write your what your qualification qualities, whatever this in your CV today. After 1 year, you write again the CV. What's the upgraded difference? Next year, what is the difference? So I think in a 3 year, your first CV has remained the same. There is no learning. Neither are you learning, nor the company is doing anything learning. We said, sir, what should I do? Why should we leave? If you don't learn in this company, you better leave.
No, I think what are you doing has two things. One is learning. Second is also learning linked to a purpose.
Yeah. So then he asked me, what is the thing? I said, you go to a sector like utilities, it's a lot. So he's gone into that and he's become one of the, took around and he's very happy. Then he started a company now, he's leading in ESG space now.
Okay.
So like that, see, a lot of things have to be, input has to be given to the youngsters. Getting a big salary and not doing routine work, they're this thing, there's no value add to themselves. I tell people that each year, if you don't add value, wait for 2 years, third year, quit.
Correct.
The company is not adding, nor you're still adding. There's no opportunity.
Correct. Super. Thank you so much, Ramaswamy. Now let us just check out if we want our. Where do I go to? Yeah. Paramatmuni, do you have any question? Paramatmuni is one of my regular attendees. Paramatmuni, are you there? If you have any question, please ask.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, I find that if the top management, particularly in the construction industry, they are highly manipulative and corrupt practices they are doing, sir, in the construction industry in particular. So how do you expect the honor in work for the people who are working in the lower cadres? Because the top cadre people itself, they are giving the instructions which are against the ethics. Good. So what is the way out for India?
See, that's exactly the reason why we are not excellent. Because I'll tell you, 3 months back example, we went to for some contract. So clearly they told us after something we said, okay, is there anything else? He said, yes. Don't you know? He said, we know, but we don't know. What is that effect? Either you find out, no, we will not find it. You tell us. He said 42%.
So thank you so much. Thank you very much. And then I really enjoyed this section. Thank you. And then
Okay.
look
Thank
forward
you.
to discussing with you once more, Ramaswamy. Thank you so
Sure,
much. Thank you.
bye. Bye. Have a
Thank you.
good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.